Greetings, vinyl community, and as always, I hope everyone is doing well, and I sincerely mean that. It's been, I don't even know when, but the last time I did a vinyl finds video is, well, before my Europe trip, so a long time ago. So I guess the hence is that I have a lot of vinyl built up, and I kind of briefly thought about, while I have time, showing you every damn piece of vinyl that I've picked up since my last video, because I don't file it away until I make another video, which you might understand makes a terrible mess. So this the amount of vinyl I've gotten since or I've bought since my last video, it's kind of kicked me in the ass to make this video because I need to get it filed and off the floor. But what I did instead of doing that is I grabbed a select, not the best of the best, but I just grabbed maybe a third of what I got, and then I don't know, another video, I guess. This happens quite frequently, and this is a kind of an age-old story with me that I always have to say or preface my videos with. But anyways, how the fuck are you guys? Hope everyone, like I said, hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone is staying away from the whatever the C thing is there. Anyways, I hope everyone is doing well. With all sincerity, life has been just trucking along. I have not talked to anyone via YouTube for a while. As I film this is New Year's Eve. But last night, the day before New Year's Eve, I've been doing, I guess, what is now an annual New Year's Eve 80s dance party. And we call it the anti-New Year's Eve party for people who don't want to go out on New Year's Eve and battle the crowd and battle the traffic. They can come to this night, which is very, very popular. And we had, I think, close to 500 people last night. And this is considering that a lot of people are still afraid to go out because of COVID. So that's almost a capacity at the room that we did. So when I say I DJ, a lot of people think I do pubs and stuff. No, we do full-on venues. So this was close to 500, and it was fantastic. And I'm super tired because I didn't get home till 4 in the morning. And it's just, yeah. That's what's been going on. And then anything else that's been going on is none of your damn business. Let's get to the vinyl, eh? I always, when people say Canadians always say A, I just deny it. That's not true, I say to people around the world. And people around the world have literally told me this. And here I am saying, let's get to this video, Today we're drinking a Tim Hortons, which is barely qualifies as coffee, but it's 3 sweetener, because I don't really eat sugar, and 3 oat milk. So that's what the drink is today. All right. And I don't mind the 3 minutes and 30 seconds that I talk to you because I haven't caught up with you guys in a long, long time. So I have a new setup here in this new room that I'm doing this in. So it might be a little bit awkward. But what I wanted to show you really quickly is I need to say that I don't collect these things. I just absolutely do not collect these things. But I saw this one today. And I've been hearing rumbles online, although I don't really go online a whole lot. But what I have seen some online is people have been trying. I'm having had a hard time finding this one particular thing because it's exclusive to one store. So I saw it today in the window and I popped in and I had to get it because I just went and saw this band in Europe and I'm a massive fan. So apparently this Robert Smith Funko is a Hot Topic exclusive. And I saw it there, and Funkos, this is the first one I've ever bought, maybe the last one I'll ever buy. And I didn't know they were like so affordable. I thought they were like, they were much more expensive than what they are, but they're pretty, actually, for people who collect them, they're pretty easy to obtain. But Robert Smith from The Cure, I had to get that one. Okay, I'm lying. I didn't have to, but I kind of had to. So, yeah, definitely do not. I'm a grown ass man. I don't collect those things. That my age doesn't have anything to do with anything to do with that. Vinyl, I'm going to show you my new vinyl finds. If you want to skip ahead to the thrift store finds and other online cheapo finds, fast forward. Up to you. I should learn how to do markers so you guys can just pinpoint when I'm done blabbing at the beginning, so on and so forth. And for those who don't like me, where the end is. I got 3 of the 6 Neil Young albums to come out in 2022. It was 6 or 7 that he released this year. Keep in mind, I've not done a video for this I've not done a Vinyl Finds video in many, many months. So anyways, this is the latest that came in. It's not a Crazy Horse album either. It's Neil Young, Noise and Flowers, live. And I was not going to get this because Crazy Horse isn't on it. Okay, no glare. But I was over at my friend Tom's house who played this for me. Might have been Christmas Eve, I think, maybe, or the day before that. I can't remember. Tom, tell me. He told me this was one of the better ones to come out in 2022 from Neil Young. But it has the backup band, The Promise of the Real, which I think is a lot of Willie Nelson's kids backing him up. And it's a full-on Neil Young electric album. And the only one he's done this year. And it's live, but it's almost every one of them is a classic song. And that the young band behind him is just on fire. And I have to say, this is probably one of the better Neil Young albums I've ever heard for live. So, I mean, no one can top Crazy Horse, but these guys just add a whole other little element to it that they get that youthful energy, you know. And like, so if you're gonna pick up one Neil Young album that he released in 2022, although it's not original, this one is fantastic. And I honestly, seriously. The 2 other ones I got was Toast, which I thought was really good. Oh, actually, I have Barn. I got 4 of them. But Barn I got on cassette. And cassette, I don't know, because I couldn't get the vinyl straight away for some reason. So the store had the cassette. I got the cassette, which I'm fine with. Sounds good. But it's not in here right now. So I got 4 of them, I guess. Barn I liked a lot. Toast is on par with Barn. Toast is on par with Barn for its quality. But I thought this one was really good, and I thought Barn was really good. There were a couple stinkers he released this year, but Toast and Barn, fantastic. So, and the one that I was looking forward to the most, because I heard a podcast with the producer of this album who had Neil Young as a guest hyping this album. They did like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour podcast, is Rick Rubin. I really love his podcast, Broken Record. I love when he does it, the 2 other guys, you know. But when he does the interviewing, it's really good. And he had Neil Young on, and they were just hyping the shit out of this album and saying how just not revolutionary, but how unique it was, and they were doing stuff that no one's ever done, and they just can't wait to unleash this on the world. And you hear that for 2.5 hours, and it's just ingrained in your head that you got to get this album. So this is the album World Record. It's Neil Young. It's Crazy Horse as well. Produced by world-renowned Rick Rubin. And Neil Young plays guitar. As I found out, Neil Young plays guitar on 1 song due to a hand injury. And that might be the only guitar in this album. I don't even know if disappointed is the right word for this album. You've got Rick Rubin, who is the master of capturing loud, just live off the floor, hard music. And then you get Neil Young and Crazy Horse. And they turn out this turd. If I could return it, I would. I still might. Actually, I won't return it, but it's not very good. So, on to the rest of the new vinyl. I just wanted to talk a little bit about those Neil Young albums, and I'm stuttering. It's been a while since I've done these videos. Come on, cut me some slack here, please. I won't be as wordy with the other albums, and I have a feeling we're not going to get through all these because of my diarrhea of the mouth hole. But the Knack. This was a record store day title that I never picked up. It never made it to my town. Probably didn't even make it to my city or country. I never saw it. But it's I ended up seeing this on eBay. It's live at the House of Blues 2001 with the Knack, one of my favorite bands ever. The masters of the power pop. And it's a live album with the 3 remaining members that were alive. Is it Burton Avere, Doug Feiger, who's sadly passed away, and Prescott Niles. I think Burton Avere passed away recently too. So the only living member of the Knack still alive is the bass player Prescott Niles. It's sad when these guys start dying like this. But anyways, live at the House of Blues. Love it. Love it. I don't know what more to say about it. It's double album. Everything you'd want from the Knack is on that. Faster Pussycat Greatest Hits. From what I understand, the CD version of this one was released by Rhino. It was like a budget CD, and it contained a lot of edits. So a lot of people were pissed off with that. So I was hesitant to get this that came out. It was just limited, so I ended up grabbing it. It's not on Rhino. It's on Friday Music, on pink vinyl. And I'm happy to say this is the only vinyl I think right now you can get with the song You're So Vain on it, which is maybe my favorite Pastor Pussycat album. Song. But yeah, glowing pink vinyl, and it's every, like the Knack, it's probably every song you really want to hear from Faster Pussycat. And all the songs, I'm happy to say, are album versions. So take that for what you will. But that's, and I'm going to be brutally honest with some of these albums. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. If they suck, they suck. If they're great, I'm honestly telling you they are great. And coming up, I have an album of the year for hard rock. And then I don't know if I have an album of the year for anything else, because I'm not making lists. And the reason why I'm delaying making this video, and I'll probably post it after the New Year's Day, is that people are doing all these list videos, like my favorite this, my favorite that, my top 10 this, my top 10 that. And I mean, more power to them. I just couldn't be arsed to do it. I can't remember half the shit I bought in 2022. There was so much of it, unfortunately. But my point being, I'm gonna let those videos come out, and then hopefully people can find this video to watch. That's not a list video. And Aha's new album. Yes, I like Aha. I went and saw them at the Royal Albert Hall in 2019, I believe it was. They did the whole Hunting High and Low album. But this is their new album, and I believe it's going to be their last album. Well, they said that many times, but this will be their last album, called North. And it's what I thought. It's what I feared it would be. It's just a very mellow, acoustic-y album, because they're not too into making electronic synthy music anymore, or music that leans that way. They've released a lot of these consecutively. I think maybe Lifelines was different. I can't remember which ones now. Anyways, yeah, I ordered it because it just for the collection, and I listened to it a couple times, and it's what I feared and what I thought it would be. It's just a mellow acoustic-y album, and if you're not a hardcore Aha fan, I just would not recommend this album. Please don't spend your money on it. It's something you can probably stream. The new Beatles album, Revolver, the new reissue, mixed by Giles Martin and Sam O'Kell. But Giles Martin is the one I recognize. I have all these ones that have been reissued with Giles Martin doing the remix, and I think this is the one that's the most. I think it's because of the source material is so archaic. They might have been working on 4-track. I don't know if you know all the ins and outs, which I don't. Please don't correct me with like, oh no, they used an 8-track and they bounced it to track 1, and so it opened up 24 tracks of this. No, they recorded on a 4-track, and even though they bounced tracks here and there, the sound quality suffered for it. My point being is that he only had limited ways to make this sound any better, but he did. He made it sound better. Like I said, this is the album that you would. It's the least noticeable of the changes done, but it is, to a trained ear, I guess. If you know this album inside and out, you would hear differences. It's very good, and I really love these Giles Martin albums that he's been doing. I think he's running out of albums he might be able to do a lot with as he works his way backwards. The available, I guess the technology is very limiting. So we'll see what he does with those. But I've been happy with everyone that's come out so far. Oh man, The Damned. I pre-ordered this. If I've not mentioned this before, The Damned have been. I can't even say they're one of my favorite bands. They're kind of in my body, in my DNA. There's a few bands like that. The Damned is one of them. I've been obsessed with them since I was 13. Around the time Phantasmagoria came out. I'm out of practice at this, I'll tell you. Phantasmagoria came out. So they've kind of transcended being one of my favorite bands, and they're kind of like just, they ooze. If I had to give a blood sample for DNA for a cold case murder or something, which I would never do, they would say, no, this guy is innocent and his DNA is full of Captain Sensible. But this is their new live album called A Night of a Thousand Vampires, live in London. And the first pressing, I can't remember I think it's black vinyl, but it has a nice big poster inside. The track listing is, like I said, I canceled my pre-order for this, but then I saw this at a local store, and I canceled it because it was expensive when I pre-ordered it, and it was around Christmas time. You got to kind of, if you got people to buy for. And then I found it at a local store, and it was actually a little bit better priced. And the track listing is different enough where, I mean, I have so many Damned live albums, but this one's different enough. They even kind of incorporate Bela Lugosi's Dead into Neat. They kind of segue into Bela Lugosi's Dead and come back out of it, which is kind of cool. But I wish they'd stop doing cover songs because they have so much of their own songs, you know. Because even the new songs on here sound really great live. And they do Eloise, which is odd. But they do People Are Strange. Like, do they really need to do People Are Strange by the Doors? I mean, Echo and the Bunnymen have done it. That's the best cover ever. No one ever needs to cover that song again. Echo, you've done a great version from the Lost Boys soundtrack. But anyways, a very good live album. Very good. Like I said, it's in the middle pack probably of all the Damned live albums I have. Maybe a little bit the upper part of half of the pile. It's very good anyways, is what I'm trying to say. And I love the artwork, by the way. It's fantastic. Okay, Sponge, Wax Ecstatic. This was reissued on a very small label. I didn't even know how they got the rights to it. It's on War God Records, licensed from Sony Columbia. This was one of my favorite bunny ears time, or air quotes, or whatever they're called. One of my favorite alternative albums of the 90s. A lot of people, I think, like their first album, the one before this, the one that had that Molly's song on it, whatever that is. I don't even have that album. This album I love, Wax Ecstatic. It's one of my favorite albums of that genre of that time. And I can't believe it was reissued. Of all the random albums, when I saw this, I was squeaking like a little boy. So yeah, love this album by Sponge. Of course, Pink Floyd, Animals, 2018. The mix is what it is. It's good. I'm not going to compare it against the other one and compare and contrast, and that's just a little too anal. It's a different take on Animals, and it's good. And I will pull this out more than once or twice to listen to because I think it's really good. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. It's just fine, is what it is. Okay, you guys ready for my favorite hard rock metal? I don't want to argue about metal, please. What's metal or not? These guys are metal. This is a different kind of metal. It's my favorite. Now I sound like I'm doing a fucking list video. Fuck. Okay, this is my favorite hard rock metal album of 2022, and it's a real shocker. That should be my clickbait. Shocking video. Skid Row, the gang's all here. Yes, I know. I've ignored every Skid Row album since Sebastian Bach got his ass kicked out of the band. And they have a new singer for this album who is very much he kind of sounds like Sebastian Bach. Someone really, oh yeah, the guy who produced this album, I think he's produced Foo Fighters and stuff like that, so he's kind of a name producer, and it sounds like it. But I started reading reviews about this record about saying people are like, they're shocked how good it is. It's one of the best albums of the year. But I started seeing this review, people reviewing this over and over again, having the same great things to say about it. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a punt and I'll try it. And it is. It's better than the third album of Sebastian Bach called Subhuman Race. It's up there with Slave to the Grind. It's that good. I'm not. Stream it, listen to it, sample it. Honestly, it's that good. Sebastian Bach is not missed on this record. I like the band with him, but this album and the vocalist here will make you forget about it because it's time to give up the ghost. That man is not coming back to Skid Row. They've been offered a lot of money and they won't do it. All right, I gotta speed this up here. I haven't. This is a 2-part find, and I don't know where the other one is. God darn it. Dag. Oh, there's this. Okay. I said enough is enough, and I'm going to replace these 2 copies of records in my collection because they've been played to death since I was a young teenager. And one was Record Store Day, and one I just said you can't have one without the other. It's part 1 and part 2, but it's one of my favorite punk bands. Obviously, I wouldn't be getting both of them. GBH, and there's City Babies, Attacked by Rats. That was Record Store Day on neon green vinyl, and then I had to order the companion album, City Babies Revenge, 101 Ways to Kill a Rat. So they're not thematically linked. It's just kind of a way to tie them together, I guess, at the time, and it worked. I think these are 2 of their 2 best albums, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, that was awesome. The Meters triple album. If nothing else, I am varied. It's almost to a fault because that starts costing you a lot of. But the Meters, one of the greatest funk bands of all time. This is their complete Josie, Warner, and Reprise singles, 1968 to 1977. All their singles collected, and I think there might be possibly some B-sides. But it's fantastic. I had to get this because I just had to get it. I wanted some nice clean versions of some of their songs, and it's the Meters. If you don't know the Meters, or are you looking for something awesome funk to listen to? Grab some early Meters because you cannot go wrong with the Meters. Okay, this is that Record Store Day title of Dave Grohl. His metal band. I can't even remember what it's called, to be honest with you. I'm gonna try to stop saying "to be honest with you" because I say it too much. Dream Widow? I don't even know what it is. I've listened to it and it's really good. It's Dave Grohl doing very, very hard metal, and it was from Record Store Day, and it's very, very good. I think it's better than his Probot album he did. That's my feeling on the matter. But yeah, it's good. Very good. Another Record Store Day title is the Duran Duran Live at Hammersmith 1982. This was originally a BBC radio broadcast that's been bootlegged a million times over. And it came out on CD a while ago, and now it came out as a download. Now it's on vinyl for Record Store Day, and it's really great. It's just when their Rio album was just released, so you got a lot of the best of the first album, and you get a lot of the best of the second album, Rio. Okay, we're getting down to the last of the new vinyl. Trouble, Manic Frustration. I think this is the last album that was on Deaf American. Once again, produced by Rick Rubin, but this is a good job, not the hack job he did with Neil Young. This is one of the best kind of, I hate the word the stoner metal, but it is. It's one of the best ones I've ever heard. So I got that. Music on vinyl. I always say this, my favorite reissue label pulls out a curveball, and I've been wondering when is someone going to re-release this record? Warrant, Dog Eat Dog. This is the final album they did with. No, it's not. It's not true. This is the final album they did for CBS Records. They made a couple more records with Jenny Lane, but who's obviously dead. Who's been dead for a while now. But this is their. They had Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinky, Rich. Then they had Cherry Pie, which was their blow-up album. Then they had Dog Eat Dog, which came out like it's a well-told tale when grunge came out. And this is a bit of a harder album, as a lot of these bands were doing at the time. And it's really good. And it's a very underrated album. People will always talk about Cherry Pie, but Dog Eat Dog, it is good. 2 more left for new albums. Striper, their latest album, and I can't talk more. I've talked about Striper in the past, about you don't have to believe the message, but it's the music for me that matters. And I've gotten all of their newer albums. So the last 5 albums, I think, are just flawless, and this is another one. I don't know how they keep on doing it, but this one is called The Final Battle. And it's fantastic, like their last 5 albums. And I can't believe they're not getting being asked by major label bands to open up for them for on arena tours or stuff, because they've come back and they've kicked ass for the last 10 years. It's amazing. And I don't believe the message, but I don't need to. And even if I did, that's my business. But I don't. But it is what it is. And finally, the new reissue of Kiss Creatures of the Night. This is the 45 RPM half-speed mastered version, and it's really good. Anyways, yeah, it sounds fantastic, and they did a really good job on it. I don't know if it was necessary to reissue, but they did. But it's good. It's what it is. Oh, yeah, one more. Oh, I got a couple more new albums. I forgot. Baton Rouge. This was reissued. This is... what is this? I know it's called Shake Your Soul, but this is their first album. They came at the tail end of their kind of hair metal movement, 1990, I think this was. But this is limited to 2,000 copies. This was their debut album released on Atlantic Records, I believe it was at the time. And a lot of people class them as that there's the A League hair metal or glam metal, then there's the B League. And then there's the C League, and a lot of people put them in that bracket. They're not. They're definitely up in that middle part for quality, but because of when this came out, it did okay. And then, like a lot of those bands, they kind of went away. They did a second album anyways, but I can't believe this was reissued, and it's one of the better kind of what I call B League glam metal bands that I've ever heard. Anyways, and once again, just like the Baton Rouge, Bangalore Choir, on target. One of the great forgotten hair metal albums of the 80s, early 90s. And this came out on a really small label. But this was reissued. This was on Capitol Records, I believe, originally. It was on a major label, Capitol Records, but it's never been reissued. And this is the first time ever on vinyl, I believe. Could be wrong. But anyways, this small little label that reissued it did a really good job on it. So that was pretty cool. Okay, let's get to some used vinyl. Thrift store finds, etc., etc. This is recently, and I haven't had time to even clean it or bag it up. I got a copy of The Mothers of Adventure Freakout. This was a couple days ago, actually. And I don't know if it's original. It's the Blue Verve label. And I don't know. Like I said, I just picked these up. I had to put them aside while I deal with life. But I think it's judging by the labels that did it, it's Quality Records who distributed Verve at the time in Canada. And I think this might be close to an original version. First or second pressing anyways. I'm not a Zappa fanatic, but do I leave this there? No. I'll give it a good home. I promise. I promise. I'll feed it. I'll wash it. I'll take care of it. I'll be maternal. Nothing fancy. Jeff Beck wired. This will all be from the same haul until I say different, I guess. Jeff, the millionth time I found this, but this one is really nice. It's got ringware, but the vinyl's nice, and I'll be keeping that one. This is the third copy of, if you go back and watch my videos, which I don't recommend you do. Actually, do if you want. Artistic. Anyways, that's for someone. Anyways, Bob Marley and the Wailers, Burnin'. This is the third copy I've found. at a thrift store in 2022. I don't know, and they all have different labels on it. This one is, I think, a later one, judging by the Island Records label. Fantastic album. This one's a really good pressing, and I might be keeping this one. Gatefold sleeve. I have 3 copies of this now. Amazing, amazing. 10 years after Greatest Hits. I like me some 10 years after. This is kind of all from their first 3 albums, I believe. But wasn't going to leave it there. Okay. Oh, yeah. One more new album I put aside. Cabaret Voltaire, The Crackdown. There you go. That is the last new album I picked up. This was on Amazon, and it was part of their Black Friday sale. Not Black Friday sale. It was like their early Boxing Day sale. So I got this for half price. Lend me some Cabaret Voltaire. Okay. We're going to test a feature out here. My new program that I'm filming on has a pause button. I'm going to press pause and see what happens, and I'm going to come back in 1 second. I have to go drink some soda from a can. I'll be right back. I hate doing this, but sorry. I think that worked. I think it did work. Look at that. This new program with pause. So now I don't have to talk for the length of a whole video. I can take a break now. That's fantastical. Anyways, let's continue on with thrift store finds. These were at thrift stores. These were $6.99 a piece, which is a couple bucks more than normal, but wait till I show you. Jane Birkin and Serge Gainsbourg. And these are not scratched up copies. These are beautiful copies. And I might put these up for auction, the next auction we have, or I might keep it. I'm going to compare this with my other copies and copy and see which one is better. And then Jane Birkin, Dee Doo Da. How's that? Like, I've had some amazing, the quantity of thrift store finds have slowed down as typical for this time of year, but the quality has been fantastic. So look, if you're into this kind of music, I guess that's fantastic. Miles Davis. This is a Japanese pressing. It does not have the Obi strip, as Anthony from AGK's Vinyl has corrected me. The Obi strip. I think he was the one that corrected me. But this is an album called Gold Disc. And it's, I don't know if you can tell, but it's all reflective gold. You can't really tell on that. But it's a Japanese best of album. I don't know if you can see the Japanese writing on the back there. You probably can't. But yeah, it's a Japanese. I love the 70s Miles Davis cover. Fantastic. But it's got things like things you would expect, like So What? And, you know, from Kind of Blue and Someday My Prince Will Come. And, you know, stuff in a silent way. Around midnight. So, fantastic Japanese pressing, and I found that. That was a while ago. So I can't remember the exact details. Same for this one. I've never found a Nick Cave album in a thrift store until now. This is, I don't know if this was for Record Store Day or not, but this is Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds Distant Sky, live in Copenhagen. The city which I have found to be one of the best record shopping cities in the world. But I've not been to Japan yet. But yeah, it's a 4-song live EP. And it's got the Mercy Seat on it, which Johnny Cash, which is from his old band, The Birthday Party, but which Johnny Cash covered. Yeah, 4-song live EP. Fantastic. I don't think I'll ever find one like that ever again. This is, well, I'll never find a Nick Cave out. That kind of didn't make any sense to it. I kind of had a brain fart there. I'll never find a Nick Cave record at a thrift store ever again. This is one of the most unique items I have ever found in my life. I didn't know it existed until I saw it on a local online ad. And then I looked on Discogs what the median price is for selling. And he wanted maybe a sixth of the price for it. And I drove over there in a mad panic. And I've since been back to this guy and I've bought a few albums off him recently. Fantastic, nice guy. He's given me some good deals. But this one, I didn't know this existed. Iron Maiden, This is Cross-Eyed Mary, the Jethro Tull cover, which has since appeared on some B-sides compilations that Iron Maiden have done. But this was actually released as a promo radio single. So it's the same song, both sides. And as you can tell, this belonged to a radio station. I don't know, I don't think it's ever been played because I don't guess the radio station never played it because there's not a mark on it. But I never knew this even existed. And if you go on Discogs, you can see what this sells for. But Iron Maiden promo only 12-inch for Cross-Eyed Mary. It's legit. I had no, and I am an avid Iron Maiden collector, and I had no idea this existed. So this must be one of my rarest Iron Maiden things I own now, is this one, and that was absolutely mind-blowing. As was this Anti-Nowhere League. We Are the League. Again, once again, you know, I really like the Anti-Nowhere League. I booked them here for a live concert once, which was very nice. They were really nice guys. But this is probably one of their, maybe their most famous album, We Are the League. Found that. This was not a thrift store. This was I think a local online ad, but this was sealed up until 2 days ago when I played it. And I got to play it again because it really threw my mind on a trip of what this actually was. Once again, my friend Tom said it was fantastic. He's a major Flaming Lips collector and fan. But this is the Flaming Lips 2014, I think it is. But it's with a little help from my friends, or Fwens as it says, which is now deleted. Once again, not to always refer back to Discogs, but I had to have a look at it to see what it's going for. And it's going for a good chunk of money. And I found this sealed. And it's all of, I think it's all of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. And there's a lot of guest stars on it. And it's really bizarre. And I don't really think of the Flaming Lips as that bizarre of a band because I've got some weird shit in my collection. But this one I will say is, I don't even know what to think of it. I'm going to have to play it a few more times, but it's just, maybe I think I was cleaning records when I was listening to it. So maybe I need to just chill and maybe take something to chill out and really listen to it because I don't know. You ready for this one? U2, the best of 1990 to 2000 at a thrift store. Once again, these are these records that I think kids bought when they got into vinyl a few years ago. Now they're kind of getting rid of their Crosleys, which is not a diss. It's true. I find so many Crosleys at thrift stores. And the records, the 3 records they got with their Crosley. And I never had this one. I have a different greatest hits one. I have the 18 singles one, or whatever it's called. Anyways, this one is good, and well, it's good, yes. Obviously, it's good. What a dumb statement, David. It's good. It's U2. It's the best of. But this has the high and the low of U2 for me. It's got the Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me from the Batman soundtrack. And I didn't want to buy the soundtrack on vinyl to get that song. So that's fantastic. That's one of the reasons for me to get this. But then they have the new remixes of songs from their pop album, which are god-awful. Fucking horrible. And I don't know why they couldn't just put the songs from the pop album. I know they don't like the mix and this and that and everything they did. But sorry, that's what you put out. That's what people want and expect. And these new mixes of Discotheque and Staring at the Sun, I think it is. Staring at the Sun's not so bad, but Discotheque is just fucking pathetic. I'm going to have to blow through some stuff here. This came from a friend of mine who was selling some records, and he sold me this album, Jerusalem. If you're like a late 60s, early 70s proto rock metal aficionado, you'll know Jerusalem. Short-lived band. This was produced, I think, by one of the guys from Deep Purple. I think it was produced by Ian Gillan, the lead singer of Deep Purple. And this is fantastic. Fantastic album. I'm going to have to pass by some stuff. Magazine, Magic Murder and the Weather. I found a couple magazine albums, and I don't know where the other one went. But I found magazine. This is from a thrift store. This one. I can't remember where this one was. This might have been an online thing. Like I said, some of these go back months, and I just can't remember everything. This is a Cyndi Lauper bootleg. It's from a well recorded concert that I used to have on videotape. She did on her She's So Unusual tour. They filmed a concert in Houston at the Summit hockey rink or basketball arena. Sorry, I'm Canadian, so it's a hockey rink, and they did a lot. I think they did a long form video, concert video for that. But she has a video for Money Changes Everything, which I love. But that live performance comes from that recording, and then someone took the audio off that and made a bootleg album, and it's the She's So Unusual tour. So she does all that album and then a couple other things, and I think it's fantastic. I love Cyndi Lauper. I I don't follow her along her career, but She's So Unusual is such. It's much more of a breakthrough album than a lot of people give it credit for. So, for accepting kind of odd-looking women doing music at the time. Anyways, I'm sure that was kind of ham-fisted statement of that record. But another Cabaret Voltaire album from a thrift store. This one's, yeah, The Covenant, The Sword, and the Arm of the Lord. What's the good song on this one? This one has I Want You on it, which was kind of a successful single for them. Once again, I love me some Cabaret Voltaire. I'm having to pick through some stuff here because we're gonna go long here. I'm not even on to the next. I might have to ditch all this here. Bo Diddley, a couple Led Zeppelins, Mitch Ryder, Detroit Wheels with Little Latin Loopy Lou for those people who like the movie High Fidelity. Public Image Limited, the Bad Life 12-inch single, which I don't know why I didn't have that one. A couple of Genesis records. Once again, these are all thrift stores until I say different. This is A Trick of the Tail and the live album with Peter Gabriel. The Saints from Australia. I have two other copies of this. So this is a mono pressing of the Electric Prunes, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night. And I'm not sure if this is, once again, I'll have to compare against my other ones and see which one is best, but this might be the best one I own is this one here, mono pressing. One of the, like the Knack, one of the best kind of power pop bands out there that was out there. I don't know if they're still together or not, but Paul Collins Beats, The Kids Are the Same. There's a lot of people out there on YouTube here that who like Paul Collins and The Beat, and good on you. I think Hannah likes them quite a bit, actually. A nice compilation on my favorite Atlantic label, the Plum, was it Plum Orange and White? But I have another version of this, but this is a UK copy I found at a thrift store that's called That Soul. This is from I guess late 60s, and it is what it says it is. It's a soul compilation for like Otis Redding and stuff like that. The unteenth copy of Michael Jackson Thriller, really nice clean copy though. So I might do some rejigging of my copies and make a Franken album and make a really good copy. Let's get to this stuff. Coroner, one of my greatest metal finds in a long time. Coroner, one of the best unknown, well, not unknown, but I don't know if they're even forgotten. A lot of people do like Coroner to this day, but Punishment for Decadence. And then I found, let's go through these. I just sold one of these on auction at our vinyl auction we did, and then I find one at a thrift store. Is Queensryche The Warning. So the second time I found this at a thrift store. Yeah, I don't know, not much more to say about that. Junkyard, the short-lived band. They were kind of like that hair metal, but they were more bluesy, that bluesy thing that kind of went around at the time. But this is their second album, 6, 7s, and 9s. Their first album's fantastic, and this one's just as fantastic. And a little side note, one of the guitar players in this band is Brian Baker from Minor Threat, and who's now in Bad Religion. A lot of people probably know this, but in the late 80s or 90s, he did the hair metal thing. But this is probably a little bit more credible than a lot of other ones. But that. I got Great White. I used to have this on cassette when I was a kid, and I played the shit out of it. It's Recovery Live, and it's a lot of covers of Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. Grim Reaper, how's that for a find? Man, this is Fear No Evil. I don't remember if this is the first or second record. But anyways, found that. And then one of my personal favorites from Canada, Triumph, Thunder 7. For those of you who don't think the beginning intro to Spellbound is not one of the greatest of all time for hard rock, then you need to reevaluate your life. The beginning guitar intro, I can listen to that forever. And when I learned that on guitar years ago, I just thought it was a major accomplishment for myself because I just loved that. And I was like, man, I can play this. And nothing else. That's not true. Keel, The Right to Rock. Not much more to say about that. They're probably their only really great album. Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Okay, check this out for a thrift store find. And I found this, and then it's been sitting in my pile, and I knew I could resell it pretty easily, or flip it, as the professionals say. And this guy I know on Facebook, who I would never think would say this, he posted that he was playing this album and saying how absolutely fantastic this album is. So I thought, oh fuck, I'll dig it out and play it and see what I think. And I really had no feelings on the matter, but it's Ariana Grande, Dangerous Woman. I love the cover though. Look at this cover. But yeah. The antithesis of Ariana Grande, or Grande, is it Grande or Grande? I don't know. Is I found a nice upgrade copy of Bobby Gentry's Ode to Billy Joe. And I have to say, no matter what kind of music you like, if you don't own this record, once again, you need to think about shit and reevaluate your life because it's honestly one of the most fantastical albums. This is an odd little find. It's a gold stamp promo copy. And I vaguely remember this album when it came out, but this is a tribute to Kurt Weill. And you can Google and see who Kurt Weill was. Weill. And Kurt with a K. But they have people like Sting, Stan Ridgway, Richard Butler from the Psychedelic Furs, John Zorn. Who else is on this record? Todd Rundgren, Tom Waits, and Lou Reed. They're on this album, and they do cover versions of Kurt Weill. And it's called Lost in the Stars. That was a nice little thrift store find, I thought. Nina Simone. Simone at Town Hall. I'm just dipping the toe in the water of Nina Simone. I know that people think that she's next to God, and I know she had a lot of really good impact on the Black community for being a very outspoken woman of color at the time. And she was very outspoken, took no shit, very strong-willed woman, which I love. I love that in a person. But if nothing else, I should be respectful enough for someone like that to investigate their music, and that's what I'm doing right now. And I just happened to find that at a thrift store. Ready for this one? These are kind of one and the same things, kind of genre, but I'm happy I found these because I can get rid of my other records by them because I don't need anything more than a Journey's Greatest Hits original pressing. Although that's a whole other story. And then Loverboy Big Ones. I definitely do not need any other Loverboy albums. Canada's Finest from Vancouver, British Columbia. Very rare on vinyl. Very rare you see this one on vinyl. Or original pressing of this one. But these were all nice little thrift store finds. And I don't think I'll ever have to have other records by them other than these two, which I hopefully in 2023 will allow me to jettison and get rid of a lot of other vinyl. And just keep kind of compilations that for bands. Ready for this one too? Another amazing thrift store find. And I'm not an expert on this band, although I do have a few CDs. So I don't know where this falls in. This might be their first album. I'm not quite sure, but it's Bikini Kill at a thrift store. This was $4.99. Original pressing on Kill Rock Stars. Like I said, the finds have been drying up, but the quality has been fantastic. I would never think I would find a Bikini Kill album at a thrift store. Or the Dickies, the Incredible Shrinking Dickies. How's that? Of course, you have to be a fan of the Dickies to think that's anything amazing, but a couple of Bob Dylan records I found. Bob Dylan and the band recorded live with, obviously, it's a live album with him in the band. These are just, I'm starting to fill in my Bob Dylan collection. And another double record, Self Portrait. These were recent finds. Both double records. The Animals Best Of. You see this at thrift stores every now and again, but this is in the shrink. The original price tag of, I don't know what that I don't know what that tag means, but it's the original price tag anyways. But it's in the shrink, and it's a very, very nice copy. So most times I see this record, it's just beat to shit, but this is in the shrink, very nice, and I'm happy I found that. I found a Monkees Greatest Hits record. Yes, it's the Monkey, and it's a Greatest Hits record, but this is like, I think, a mid-70s one with a cover I've never seen before. And it's a pretty decent Greatest Hits record. There's a couple songs, I don't know why they're on, but it's a Monkees Greatest Hits record that I will eventually probably sell to a Monkees fanatic. And then the Jackson 5, this is the soundtrack to their TV special they had at the time called Going Back to Indiana, the Jackson 5 Live. And there's a bunch of people on this one. There's a lot of Bill Cosby on this record. That dates it well, doesn't it? Yeah, well, there's some good guest stars on this record. And I have to be honest, I haven't listened to all of it yet. I listened to some of it, not all of it. It's the Jackson 5 Live. I found a copy of Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Decent copy, enough for me to keep it. I'm not the biggest Joe Cocker fan, but I haven't heard this album in a long time, so I'm going to give it another spin. Rolling Stones, Get Ya Ya-Ya's out. Nice copy of that one. Except for some wear, but I'm not going to say what I normally say. You don't play the cover. I just said it. This is an audiophile quadraphonic pressing of the Bloomfield Cooper Stills Super Session album. Very, not underrated, because it did sell a lot of records. I'm happy I just found the quadraphonic audiophile copy. Nice gold label to tell you what it is. But fantastic sounding record. Just a fantastic album with Stephen Stills, Al Cooper, and Mike Bloomfield. We're getting to the end. Stray Cats. Got a nice upgrade copy of Rant and Rave. What was the one on this one? Was it 1617? Yeah. I think that was the big one on that one. Another quadraphonic record I found with someone donated all the quadraphonic records, and for some reason I only grabbed 2 to show you. I got about 3 or 4 other ones downstairs, but I should have brought them up with all these. But this is the quadraphonic version of the Edgar Winter Group Shock Treatment. Another great sounding record. Canadia's only Nash the Slash. This was released on the UK label Din Disc, distributed by, was it Virgin Records? And they had OMD, they had Martha and the Muffins, they had a lot of really kind of influential bands at the time, early 80s. But Nash the Slash, I don't have time to even go into that guy. He's a whole other story unto himself. This is a near original pressing of Grant Green's Street of Dreams on Blue Note. I haven't matched the Matrix up yet, but if it's not an original Blue Note, it's close to, it's one of those second or third pressings. Very early pressing of, I should look up the Matrix number on that. Everything else matches on it to make it seem like it's an original or a second pressing. We're coming to the end of it. I'm going to skip that. Best of Wilson Pickett. I love me some Wilson Pickett. We might end on this one. I think we will. I don't buy a lot of 7 inches at thrift stores because they tend to be beat up all to shit. But I found the Cramps Big Black Witchcraft Rock. And this is from the mid to early 90s, I believe. I've never found a Cramps 7 inch in my life. So that was a nice find. We're going to wrap this up. It's under an hour. I can't believe it. And I can't believe I talked almost straight except for like a 5-minute break. So cheers, everyone. I'm not going to talk your ears off right now. I'll end this quick by saying I'm not going to do this a whole lot in 2023. I don't think I do it a lot anyways. I'm not going to pander, but I'm going to say I'm trying to get back to making regular YouTube videos, and nothing's going to happen for me if people don't click and watch or thumbs up or whatever, thumbs down, even if you want. I don't care. Just kind of show some engagement. Subscribe if you want. This is me pandering. Because, I think this speaks for all kind of YouTubers, maybe, is that, when you get a good number of views, it's very encouraging. It makes you want to continue doing videos. And then when I stop, I get a lot of people ask me, why did you stop? Why, when's your next video? I get that a lot, relatively speaking. But, well, it's because my last video, no one watched it. And it could have been a thing of timing. It could have been I posted it on the wrong day or time. And just this time of year, people aren't watching YouTube or whatever. But I think I speak for a lot of people. And then, when you do a video and you put a lot of work into it, it's draining talking this long. But, you're hauling records around and you're proudly showing them off. And then if no one watches your video, it's just very discouraging and you don't want to do videos anymore. And I think this is not unique to me. This is probably a lot of people I've spoken to. So I would just ask, please, to be, if you could, if you don't want to watch all the video, these long videos I make, just maybe watch it and stop and come back to it, or just, I don't monetize my videos. I think that's incredibly, well, I don't even know what the word is for that, for someone at my level of YouTube-dom. But yeah, it's very presumptuous of me to think that I'm going to make people sit through videos or commercials when I'm just trying to get people to watch what I do anyways. But I'll never monetize. I think that's silly. If I was a big YouTuber, yeah, it makes sense. But anyways, if you guys could do that would, and I don't even know who made it to the end of the video, but I might say at the end, please click to this time and watch the end of watch me selling my soul by begging. I'm not really selling my soul. I'm just asking you, please and thank you, if you could just click something. As long as you're showing engagement, I think it's okay. I don't really care about number of subscribers. That honestly does not matter. It's the amount of people. There's like one of my favorite kind of tech video people is TechMoan, and he has over 1 million subscribers. But I was watching one of his videos today where he was saying that if he gets 200,000 views, he thinks that's successful for him. So that means over 800,000 people are not watching his videos. See what I mean? So the level of subscribers doesn't really matter. It's the amount of people who watch your videos. So that's the extent of my begging. Anyways, I don't really believe in flipping pages for a new year. It's going to be 2023 at midnight tonight, and it is what it is. So just another day in paradise. So thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to try to, as a lot of things get taken off my plate and my life kind of settles down a bit and kind of levels out, I'm going to try to get back to what I used to do. A lot of, video a week almost, one video every 2 weeks, whatever it is. Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone. Take care. We'll see you next time. This has been David Michael, aka Nazz Nomad. Peace. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.